R.E.S.P.E.C.T. Find out what it means to me. And evidently it don't mean nothing to the trans community, man, because they are mad. They are mad at the Queen of Soul. She ain't even allowed to defend herself. Scott and Steve, and speaking of which, welcome y'all to this edition of The Right Angle. You in trouble now. Anyway, I'm sitting in for Bill Whittle. And there's some big shoes to fill, man. So I'm gonna try to do my best to keep up. Anyway, back to my singing. I know you guys want me to get back to the singing. Anyway, so the trans community, y'all, the trans community is mad at Aretha Franklin for "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman." That song, you can't sing that song. That song is offensive. Offensive to the trans community. Yeah. So y'all, how are they gonna be mad? Because this is politically incorrect. This is like one of those instances of an unstoppable force is met by an immovable object. Which one is going to give way as far as this goes? So anyway, the trans community, man, how y'all gonna be mad? This is politically incorrect. You can't be mad at the Queen of Soul, and she's the Queen of Soul. She ain't the woman who would be King of Soul. Okay, she is the Queen of Soul. What am I missing here, Scott? Can they do that?
Well, apparently somebody has. I saw that story, and it's funny because you would think that it would be acceptable because she said like a natural woman. Okay. A guy in a dress is like a natural woman. I personally happen to like a natural woman. I can dig it, yeah. So I actually love her. But yeah, this gets to be a little silly, but it's actually part of a very serious effort on the part of this, self-perceived marginalized group to advance their cause through anything that they can connect with. When's the last time Aretha Franklin's song was in the news? When the Jennifer Hudson movie came out, maybe? When she played her in that movie? Like, out of nowhere, we take a song that, hasn't been on the charts in 40 years or however long it's been and suddenly make it a political issue. But it just goes to show they're looking for who's an icon that we can attack, who can we make a scene over that will cause a reaction. We really don't care what the reaction is. It doesn't matter. I remember years ago, I went to work for a company as their advertising director. And on my first week on the job, one of our delivery trucks, the driver apparently didn't set the brake firmly, and the truck crashed into the side of a school building. It happened to hit a chemistry class, and so they had to evacuate the building because there are gas jets for chemistry experiments in the chemistry class. So they got everybody out of the building. And on the front page of the local paper, there's a picture of the nose of our truck wedged into the side of this brick building. And the boss comes in and throws the paper on my desk and says, "What are you going to do about this?" And I looked at it and I said, "You cannot buy an advertisement above the fold on page 1. Look at your logo right there in the middle of page 1. Now, I was being somewhat facetious, but that's the idea. There's no such thing as bad news in this if you're trying to promote something. So they want to make a stir, whatever the emotional reaction to that is. And it just seems silly. And by the way, what it's going to do is drive a lot of people to download some Aretha Franklin. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is awesome. And I think, if I remember correctly, when they gave her that, whatever the President's Award, the Lifetime Achievement Artist kind of thing award, I think she came out on stage and played and sang that song, and it was magnificent. So make sure you look up the video and you hit it on the head. I really challenged them on this because you pointed out that it's like a natural woman. And I want to take it even further and say that the song is about making her feel like a natural woman, not making her feel like a neutral woman. Okay, this ain't no gender neutral song or anything like that. And now, Steve, I noticed that with this story trending, they're showing Aretha
playing this song. She's playing the piano and she's singing the song. And I noticed that a lot of people are wearing the LGBT colors, the rainbow and stuff like that. And I think it's very interesting that it's almost like they forgot the whole same-sex love thing as they're pandering to Aretha Franklin, singing this song. Because when Aretha's singing this song, I don't think she's singing about some woman who made her feel like a natural woman. I don't think she's singing about and recalling some lesbian experience. I don't think that the people who wrote the song, I think it was I can't remember his name, between... it
was Jerry Wexler, Carole King, and her husband, Jerry Goffin.
Okay, now, when they made this song...
Cisgendered,
right? Yeah, all of them were exactly married to the opposite sex. I don't think that they were coming from a place of same-sex love when they were creating this song. My point is that while they're all getting all teary-eyed and gushing over Aretha singing this song, it's almost like despite their rainbow colors or anything like, and don't get me wrong, I mean their whole point is to celebrate love. I got that. But if Aretha's singing "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman," she is recalling a man. It took a man to make her feel like a natural woman.
But here's the thing: we've gone from the radical left saying we're just going to tear down the statues of Confederate generals to now we've got to tear down the Queen of Soul.
I told you wasn't going to stop with them.
You did. You were right. Because there's a natural progression, because there are no limiting principles in leftism. Once they start tearing stuff down, we all got to tear everything down until we get to year one, and we got the guillotine set up for everybody who doesn't cooperate. This is 200 years of leftism in a nutshell for you, folks, and I gave it to you for free. There is so much going on here. So the song, as I said, was written by Carole King,
Wexler and Goffin.
Jerry Goffin and Jerry Wexler, and all three of them Jewish, by the way. But there's a magic in music, and there's particularly a magic in Aretha Franklin that I want to talk about here. Aretha had a way of making any song her own. A lot of people forget this, but "Respect," her signature number, was originally written and performed by Otis Redding. And I heard a story, I don't know if it's true or not, but I like to think it is, that the first time Otis Redding heard Aretha perform "Respect," his song, he said something like, "That woman stole my song," because he knew nobody would remember that as an Otis Redding song ever again, because Aretha had made it her own. And she did that with "Natural Woman" too. Although I really like Carole King's recording of her own song. I think it was on Tapestry in '71. So it's like 3 or 4 years after Aretha recorded it. But nobody thinks of it as a Carole King song because Aretha did it, and that's her magic. But more broadly speaking, music is so hungry for talent that racism, there's just not a whole lot of room for that in music. There's a great sequence in Bird, which is one of my favorite music movies. Clint Eastwood directed. It stars Forrest Whitaker as the Yardbird himself, and they're touring the South. They're touring the South, and they're going to a lot of segregated clubs where even the bands had to be all black or all white, and the band features a redheaded white dude, so they pass him off as Albino Red.
This video is going to get rickrolled.
He's not a white guy. He's an albino black dude with red hair. And so they could play in the segregated clubs in the South. And it's a great bit. It's a funny bit. And, it's a very tragic movie because we know how Charlie Parker died and how young he was. But that's how hungry music is for talent. And the thing is, there's no need to make music conform. You can have a song about the way that a man touches a woman and makes her feel like a natural woman for Aretha Franklin. Just like my gay friends can have "It's Raining Men," or what. I pulled that one out of my butt. It's just, we don't have to have a one-size-fits-all for our love of music. There's room for everything and everybody, and this idea that every single song has to fill every single niche, and if it doesn't, then it has to be destroyed. that's somebody who doesn't just hate music. That's somebody who hates people.
And yeah, I think it really gets down to that. They just hate people. And, you know, with them coming after Aretha Franklin based on this, I'm looking at, like I said, with the conflict of the audience, basically abandoning their whole narrative concerning being, you know, pro LGBT and stuff like that. And you got the trans community, you know, coming after Aretha Franklin on this. It reminds me of what I've been saying for a while. There's a conflict between trans and homosexuals, and that has come out a little while ago as homosexuals are looking to distance themselves from the trans community. And they're trying to, and according to them, it's like homosexuals are assuming that they're distant. They're trying to make people think that they're distancing themselves from the trans community because of some moral issue. How trans are trying to groom or bring children into the fold, and homosexuals are like, no, we're more moral. First up, all of y'all are perverts. Okay, this is the way it is. It's just, that's the truth. But number two, the reason why they're distancing themselves from that is because of simply this. Homosexuals will tell y'all that we can't help who we are born this way, and you cannot change that. Well, that's a conflict of interest with the trans community, because the trans community says, yeah, I may have been born a boy, but I can change into a girl. You can change. So they're at total odds, and so the trans community is getting thrown under the bus. Okay? Now, here's the truth, folks. Yes, a person can be born gay. Yes, absolutely. You know why? Because we're all born sinners. All of us are born perverts. All of us are born thieves. All of us are born slanderers. All of us are born murderers. But the choice comes in, folks, is to not do those things. You don't submit to your sin. You submit to the Lord. That's how that works. So, with the trans community, leave Aretha Franklin alone. Dang it, she has a right to be who she is. She was born that way. Dang it. So if she wants to go ahead and sing that song, you let her sing that song. All right, folks. So unless anybody has anything else to say to like put me in my place, we gonna call this episode of the right. And we will thank you guys for tuning in for The Right Angle. We hope that you guys share these videos, and make sure you come and support over at BillWhittle.com if you want to hear like knuckleheaded stuff like what I have to say, but I feel in. All right. Good night.